Hello. Welcome back to the Family Fortune. It's me, your girl, Ashana, and sitting awfully close today is
Little Mac, Malcolm Mayo. Trying
out some new things. But I think this one or maybe the next one, this will be the last time Malcolm will be with me. And I'm so
shall see. We shall see.
I'm gonna convince him to stick on. But anywho,
I don't like being in front of the camera. Oscar. I'm behind the camera type of guy.
I'm the same way.
Yep, there you go. Well, you're here today, and I appreciate you.
And that other bare white voice you hear is our special guest for the day, Mr. Oscar Jessie. Say hello. Say hello. There you go.
How's everybody doing?
Doing awesome. As you see, we like to have fun back here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But this is a podcast, or this is our... Sorry, but I'm not preaching today. This session is we're going to talk about all things property development, homes, housing, and I understand you are the man to talk to. So tell us about yourself and then your company.
Well, Oscar A. Jessie is the name. First black real estate developer.
Oh wow!
Come on.
Wow.
Let's give it up. Give it up.
When I say first black real estate developer, a lot of people get that kind of position misconstrued. And development is when you take raw land and turn raw land into something,
right?
A neighborhood. So that's what I have done. The first black developer here in Augusta. It hasn't been done since we kind of knocked it out the box.
I hear you.
Orchard Landing.
Yeah,
was the neighborhood 44-unit townhome development right off Pete George Road in South Augusta.
What I'm most interested in is how did you even get into this? Was this something little Oscar on the playground was like, I want to build houses?
Well, actually, you're right.
Really?
I was 16 years old, right down here. A lot of my family grew up in the downtown. Born and raised.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so a lot of my family grew up in the downtown area. So at 16 years old, we used to just hang out over at Allen Home, over, off 12th Street, other locations, South Side. So I used to see a lot of abandoned homes next to used newer homes that they was building. So I was like, I want to take those abandoned homes and fix them up, because who wants to move to a new house and you have abandoned property next to it?
I have to admit, I'm a cut it from it. When I first got here in 2011, and actually after I retired in 2015, I was a mobile notary, and they used to take me downtown a lot. And I didn't know the neighborhood, and I would just be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You riding, I was scared because all I saw was abandoned homes. And I'm like, wow, Augusta is kind of, but you're changing that, right?
Right now, I got to continue to get in the store.
Okay.
So looked at those homes, so I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. So I ended up, going through real estate, taking a real estate class, becoming a realtor. So I ended up selling houses, starting out. Started off with a pretty huge company here in town, Maybach. And started selling houses, did that for about 8 years. Between that time, went to school, Payne College, got my degree there. The pandemic hit, all that good stuff. So I kind of started to kind of reorganize myself, reorganize the brand, started a construction company, led from there, started the development company.
Okay, awesome, man.
That's where we at.
You enjoying it. So, wait a minute. So how long have you officially been a property developer?
Well, we started that development part 17.
Okay.
Yeah,
2017. Okay.
Yeah, so before that, it was a construction piece and real estate piece.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So how does that work? I'm sorry. How does the transition work from building the houses to actually becoming the developer of the land?
The money.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So again, I started out selling real estate. So I was like, okay, the folks that selling houses, they make a little money.
Okay.
But the people that's actually working on the house, they're making a little bit more money.
Really?
So I
never knew
transitioned
that.
to a construction company. Then I was like, okay, the people that's building the houses, they make a little money, but the folks that's actually doing everything, they making the most money.
Okay.
So I didn't get into it necessarily for the money aspect, but I kind of chased the dollars to control everything.
That's
and I'm
good.
able to control kind
That's
of
good.
every aspect and actually control the pricing of the housing as well. So when you have like the product that I have, I'm able to actually sell it or list it 10 to 20% below the market value, in which, you know, we have a more comfortable product. You know, all our stuff that we have is kind of like more upgrade. And when you have other companies that don't necessarily have those particular upgrades. So
when you're getting into, you know, developing a property, are you taking raw land or are you taking a dilapidated property, like a structure that's already built and kind of tearing that down and start over?
yeah, so again, it's raw land.
Okay.
Yeah, development, that's raw land.
Gotcha.
You know, oftentimes you have individuals, you know, take 3 or 4 houses or 3 or 4 lots and, you know, construct 3 or 4 houses. You know, that's not necessarily a developer, but a builder.
Okay,
know,
okay, so that's the difference.
Yeah, you just have to kind of figure out the lingo. That's
So how does one even go about, or what's the process to find this raw land?
So it's, how I did it was I was just riding around, you know, trying to figure out what side of town, you know, is kind of needed for development. What side of town can I, because it's all about numbers at the end of the day.
Sure.
Like if I go to Columbia County and buy a piece of land that's $1 million, 8 acres that's $1 million, versus coming to South Augusta and buying a piece of land that costs $300,000, then, you know, right there, starting out at the beginning, I know I'm gonna have to price my housing a little higher than I would if I brought the land over here. So all that is kind of taking the fact of how much the infrastructure is going to cost, how much is it going to cost me to put the roads in, the sewer lines, the water lines, all the sanitation lines, all that good stuff. So all that takes
That's a lot.
all that takes, you know, those numbers right there, you know, you might end up spending like $1 million before you even get started.
Wow.
That's before you even start putting the first house up. So
Was there any challenges that you faced on, like in the beginning, I guess around 2017? So like when you're getting started, I'm guessing there are a lot of roadblocks that some people that don't want you to do it. I guess the word, how I would phrase it. Like what were some of the challenges that you may have faced? Give me some simple ones.
If you can imagine, you know, I wouldn't say I'm being the first of anything.
Yeah.
You know, you already kind of assume and know that it was a lot of more smarter individuals than it was me that came along. It was just more so of the capital that
So then the capital was harder, a little bit harder?
So to find around here in Augusta.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the first step of anything, you know, trying to find the capital. You know, if you're going around to 7, 8 different banks and all of them saying, hey, you don't have this, you didn't do this. Well, how can I do this if, you know, I don't get the money to do it? You know, so I had to look nationwide for capital.
Wow.
And look nationwide and was able to receive capital to do the project that I wanted to do. And rest is history.
Yeah, it's that small town mentality.
Yeah.
I'm kind of run into it myself before.
Yeah.
You probably had more of a leg up because you were born and raised here, but you still know. But it's hard to get in unless you've been here for generations.
Well, like I said, you know, being the first, you know, within that field, you know, I believe, you know, I haven't had conversations with individuals who have tried this, but outside of getting capital, it's just so many other obstacles you have to deal with, from site planning, going through the site planning process and the time that it takes to get all that stuff approved. You know, it can take about a year, sometimes a year and a half, 2 years to even get a neighborhood started.
Wow.
So if you're not
But
financially...
you wouldn't even think get that. I mean, it's hard to imagine that with all the different neighborhoods popping up all over the
Yeah.
place.
Oh, no.
That is it goes back to maybe 3 to 4 years prior to that before they actually started building.
Yeah, at least
wow.
a year and a half. You know, that process from doing your site planning to getting the architectural plans to taking it through the city to either get it rezoned or get all the approvals that you need for the site planning process. You know, that whole process can take about at least a year and a half. So, gotta kind of be ready to.
I'm gonna be honest. That
it's
is
all about
intimidating.
patience.
Yeah, it's patience.
Yeah.
And
Oh man.
just having the mental mindset to stay in it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like I'll be honest, that sounds very discouraging
It
for
does.
somebody who doesn't want to do it. But I think with your experience, all these years of actual real interest, and not somebody who just want to go out and start flipping property or something like that.
And that's what I kind of tell individuals a lot. I have a lot of mentees too as well, and I kind of tell them like, you don't necessarily want to get into what, you know, they look at what I'm doing and say, okay, yeah, I want to do multifamily and I want to give me a whole neighborhood. And no, you don't want to kind of start off right there. Let's start off with a single family home. You know, let's do new construction and let's start on that. Because these days and times, even when you look at fits and flips,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people, you know, have been doing fits and flips, but in today's market, you know, a lot of the fits and flips home where you could have got a couple of years ago for $80,000, those same homes now going for $130,000,
Wow.
$140,000. So by the time you put another $20,000, $30,000 into it to get it back up to where you want to be, you're kind of capping out to, you know, the possibilities that you can make out of that home. So it's just a time factor. Okay, is it worth, you know, the 4 or 5 months it's going to take me to kind of rehab this home to.
Okay, so are you, I guess, strictly dedicated and build it on raw land, or are you somebody who can, like, say if I want to build a property or whatever, can I come to you and be like, hey, can we buy this land? Can we put this house on it? Blah, blah, blah. You can assist with that type of stuff?
Look, I have mentees. I have people who I assist. I have, the list is long.
Right.
And I have custom homes that I do too as well.
I guess that's what I meant, a custom home.
So, I have about 10 custom home clients as far as Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, we have one in Rock Hill, a couple in about 4 in Chester, South Carolina, another in Lancaster, South Carolina. So we just kind of spreading on out.
Now,
That's good.
I saw on your website that you also do work for low to moderate income, what they call affordable homes now these days. Tell us about that, because I'm still trying to figure out who decided what's affordable home, you know, and it's supposed to go about whatever the federal says, but you know, anyhow.
So the word affordable housing now is such a that word alone is so scary to individuals. You know, we're kind of trying to transition from the affordable housing word to market rate housing or workforce housing. So those are terms you'll kind of find people kind of using now. You know, because when you start saying affordable housing and, you know, you want to put it just someplace, just say, for instance, if you want to put it like next to Westlake, and I come and say, hey, I'm going to build some affordable housing next to Westlake. You know, Westlake, if people don't know, is a influential neighborhood.
Yeah.
Real high. So if I'm saying, hey, I'm coming, but if I say, hey, I'm building some market rate housing here for workforce housing individuals, you know, I'm talking about SRS folks. And I'm talking about Plant Vogel and cybersecurity. You know, so it's kind of like the terminology. So when we first started Orchard Landing, the townhouse, we started at 185. So that's actually considered affordable housing in the Augusta area. 185.
Wow.
No. Yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
But
number.
that's not affordable. That's not. What do you call it? What do you call it again? Market rate housing.
Market rate.
It's not market rate housing anymore.
So, you know, the city also has programs now to where they assist individuals who don't quite meet that income level with down payment assistance or if closing costs if they need it. So I think their particular program, don't quite quote me on this, but it's about $25,000.
Yeah, it's about
contribute
that. It's about
to homeowners, new
between 10,
homeowners,
yeah, 10 and 25.
and all that good stuff. So they have different opportunities out here for individuals. But these days and times, it's kind of like the market, the just overall, is kind of pricing individuals out of housing. Yeah, it's crazy.
Tough.
It is.
That is tough. Where was I going?
And that's just nationwide.
Yeah, I've been trying to keep track of the trends when it comes to housing, and it's scary.
Yeah,
it is really scary, and especially the way some of the low income and even moderate income can no longer afford to stay in a house.
Yeah.
And then rent is right behind it. Rent for an apartment is right behind it, so they may not even be able to afford that. It's just scary after how many more people are getting forced out.
Yeah. Hey, you have a lot of people out there too that take advantage of those tax sales, tax liens. So, if you have family out there that, can't quite afford to pay their taxes, you gotta make sure you stay on top of that, because before you know it, you have a company or a investor
or individual
come along and pay those taxes, even if it's nothing but $400. They end up putting $10,000 on it
just to secure it.
Just to secure it.
So, for a while back, my other job, I go down to the courthouse a lot, and so I usually notice people. Certain days at certain times, there's like a load of people kind of lined up or laying around outside, and I, sad to say, at first I thought they were homeless, but then I asked, they're actually people who are looking to purchase homes or purchase other property, and they're there to secure their spot in line because they hold these sales or tax sales. And I was like, and it's a bunch of them.
Never knew.
I didn't know either.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And so that, the houses are getting, taken away from people left and right. And it's scary because then there's more and more people that's on the street. So I'm sad to say.
Yeah.
I have one question. What was my one question? I don't know if you can, if you're able to do this, but for someone like me who may be willing to come to your service, how does the finance part, do you know how the finance part would work on my end? From, how would I hire you? That's basically, there we go. How would I hire you?
So, from what aspect though? So if you just said, hey, I want to get into real estate.
Like me, I want to go out in the countryside somewhere away from people and, purchase me, so purchasing some land and then building a custom house suitable for me, because it'd be just me. So I won't need a big old mansion or anything, but
So oftentimes, many of my clients, they get what you call a construction to perm loan. And that's what it's called. A construction to perm loan allows you, and oftentimes too, they can roll your property if you already own it, or if you don't own it, they can combine those two loans together, purchasing the property and also building the home. And at the end of the process of me building the home, then they combine those two loans together, so you just have one loan. But it's called a construction to perm loan, and it's like an interest-only payment that you.
I sure know.
I'm sure gonna do that.
I just tattooed that on my brain.
Yeah. A construction to perm loan that allows you to actually, build a home of your choosing. So we sit down with the architect that I have. We also sit down with my engineers to do the surveys and do the plot plans to make sure that the house fits up on the land as it's supposed to. So we get with those two individuals, again, go through the architectural process to say, okay, this is how much a home I can afford. This is what I want in it. I want hardwoods here. I want a hidden door here.
I'm in my head fantasizing
I want
right
an
now.
all-tile shower. I want
Oh, come on now.
I want to just whatever
noise
you can think
suppression
of.
walls.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, if you want it, I will put it in there for you.
Oh man.
I am daydreaming right now.
I've always fantasized with the idea of building my own home. I just never knew what exactly to do.
But I tell you this, building your own home these days is the best way to go, because now everything is being so priced so high.
Yeah.
So when you're going into a neighborhood, oftentimes you're looking at $145, $150 a square foot. So,
Wow.
you're talking about, for a 3,000 square foot house, pretty decent numbers there, depending on what side of town that you're
And
staying
then you
on.
get very little yard.
Yeah, depending on what side of town I think here in the Augusta area it's like 130 square foot. Same thing like Grovetown, Aiken, Columbia County is a little higher.
Okay.
So you're talking about anywhere between 130 to 145 a square foot.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're able to actually design your own home and actually build your own home, then I sit down with my clients and we're talking about giving you everything that you need for a little bit more square footage and a little less cheaper price.
Come on.
So you coming in,
I know, right?
and I have my clients to attest to this. You coming in with like $60,000, $100,000 in equity already built in. So when you just say you being a business owner, you coming in and say, okay, well I can go to get a HELOC. A HELOC is a home equity line of credit loan. Get a HELOC loan on the equity that's already built in, and usually that you can take 80% of whatever is available. And say, okay, I'm gonna start my business. I'm gonna get some money to, continue my business.
She's over here salivating.
Listen.
Yeah. So even with the townhomes, with them starting out at 185, now the price points on those are like 215.
Wow.
And that's like a year over.
I was about to say you. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So right now they got, and don't stop right there. That's just the price for the neighborhood, but the same comparable townhome.
Yeah.
That's just right around the corner from us, probably about 300-400 square foot less than what we have. Not as close to the upgrades that we have. It's going for 230.
What?
240. So.
That's a lot. And I love every bit
so
of it.
So if you have an appraiser come in and say, okay, well, they got those around the corner for 230, yours 180. So we got $50,000 of equity here.
Yep.
Let me pull 80% out.
Yep. Dang.
Okay.
It can get deep.
We'll be in here, I had to pull myself out of fantasy land. And I just realized that we started talking, but we never let you tell us about the name of your company, about your company.
Yes.
So as we get ready to close out, first of all, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're
Tell
fine.
us about your company, name of your company, how people get in contact with you, and everything else.
Yeah, Green Space Communities.
Green Space Communities.
Green Space Communities. I also have another company that I just started. This is going to be for the Aiken development, Southern United Development.
Southern United.
So this thing gets crazy out here. You have to have, and you find a lot of developers that have multiple businesses. Business don't have multiple businesses. You just shouldn't kind of box yourself into one. I know with the Aiken development, I knew with the Aiken development, it's a whole different animal.
And Aiken is expanding.
Yes.
Big.
So I had to come in a different route,
Okay.
for lack of better terms. So I created Southern United Development.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So Southern United Development, but Green Space Community, that's the umbrella company.
Is there a website or a phone number?
Yeah, so I have greensspacecommunities.com.
Okay.
Still have to update that. But phone number 706-495-8515. It's a number I'm always contactable. So
I
just
am
reach out.
excited. I'm not quite there yet,
Yeah,
but I'm
it's all
almost
good.
ready to get me a home built.
all good,
I'm almost ready.
Yeah, just study.
Yeah.
I tell my folks all the time, just study, do your homework.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the gospel. Not the gospel that Reverend Goodman gave you, but I'm gonna give you the gospel. I'm gonna give you the gospel, and I always tell my folks, just still do your homework. You still need to do your homework, irregardless of what I tell you. Still do your homework. Still do your homework, because it's a learning process.
I'm glad
wanna
you said
create
that.
A
Some people
learning process for us.
they go to Google and whoever else out there, and they just stop.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Scanning information that may not be related to your your county.
Yeah.
You may be looking at something broad information, but I appreciate that
Yeah,
information.
do your homework.
Yeah, still do your homework.
Who's a library?
That's I think that should be our tagline: Family Fortune. Do your homework.
Do your homework.
Next season, we're gonna be brand new again. I like that. Do your
Yeah,
homework.
just do your homework.
Any closing thoughts before we get out of here? I do appreciate all this information. I have never been excited about home building before, but I'm excited now.
Look, nothing's impossible.
Yes.
Generational wealth is a real thing. And it's not by chance that over 50% of millionaires obtain their millions off real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So do your homework.
Do your homework.
And,
We're going to make that our tagline.
Amen,
do
Reverend.
your homework and, just get ready to see what ways, if you have that family laying out there, don't get rid of it. If you have
That's
some
a
family.
whole nother podcast.
That's a
If
whole
you
other
have
episode
the-
right there.
Look into putting some homes on it. Look into, because that land is valuable. It has value in
So
it.
much value.
So, if you have taxes as old, pay the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
Do your homework.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Oscar Jessie, I do appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Amen.
And you'll probably be hearing from us again
Absolutely.
for the upcoming season once we come back off a break.
Well, you might be hearing from me off air.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about some other
Look,
stuff.
we can even
What my
scrape the
theme
surface yet.
Yeah, I bet. Go ahead.
I need my theme music.
Yeah, my theme.
Sound engineer.
My theme music.
Keith Thomas, his first episode doing. Appreciate you,
And we
brother.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Until the next time we meet, this is me, your girl, LaShawna.
This is Malcolm.
And we also have,
Oscar and Jessie.
Thank you.
and this is Family Fortune. Bye. Say goodbye to me.